network is fixed. Maybe now it's running. Okay, but I want to just make sure live streaming is running perfect. Okay, the status is very excellent. The stream is healthy. Okay, so if anybody in a live streaming, just say hi and just say you have a live streaming is clearly and working properly. Okay, and I've also access in a short format. So if anyone want to, the short is not possible because the screen in a landscape. And if you want to just watch using short, you have to click it before you
live stream
understanding what I'm saying to you. And
okay
if you want to just watch using short, you have to click it before you
live stream
understanding what I'm saying to you. And if
okay
you want to just, so now the streaming is live successfully correctly and stream is healthy. So now back on the topic what we have studied. So okay. So in the last part, we have just created our server using the Node.js. But in this part, we have working and we have created our server using Express.js. Okay, so it's that is the introduction to Express.js. Express.js is the most popular framework of Node.js. Every programming language has some frameworks, and the Express.js is the most popular framework of Node.js. We use to create our server easily without writing a lot of code, and because if you write the node code, it's little complex. It's it's literally it's difficult to handle the when you have to debug. But with the help of Express.js, we created our servers easily, as much fast as much possible, and working on what in a real life, if you have to work on backend, the mostly tasks will be managed using Express.js. Okay, so first of all, if we want to use Express.js, simply just you write the import express from source, comma, double quotes, express. Okay, so now you just we have import express from express. Okay, now just we have create a server, const port number. Port number is very important. The port number is just like port is like a door number on your computer. It's tell the browser where to send the request. Okay, so just like const the port number. So we just choose the port number or 444. You choose as value as you want तुम्हें चाहिए. Okay, once you have created the port, the next step is you need to create your server. And if you want to create a server in Express.js, it's literally as simple. Instead of writing everything manually, the Node.js HTTP module Express.js give you a shortcut with a clear. Okay, so we just write the server const server is equal to my express. Okay, so in this what happened? The all the packages and file of HTTP of Node.js will be in server. So now we can work using server. Just like we have enter server and we just write the server dot server dot we use what we use server dot get. ठीक है server dot use get and in get we have used request comma response server dot request. Okay, it's take two argument. The first argument is root path, the root of an file. So just like we have this is our local host 5000 codex. This is our root. Okay, that's a silver root. This is the basic root. And the next is we use the callback. The callback is taken two argument, the request and the response, because give every server has two tasks. The first is request and responses. Responses is just like they give a responses on the basis of data, and request is just like request on the basis of data. It's not data because we right now we are not working on data, because if we have to work on data, we use the MongoDB. But I'm not study MongoDB yet. But whenever I study, I just explain it and revise myself also. Okay. So just like if we have to print hash on this root port number this and this route, we have to, if we want to print response dot send, and we have to send the, this is our, this is our express js server. Okay, this is our express js server. Okay, now we have to run this server on port. Okay, so we just like listen, we have need to write server dot listen, and after the listen you have give two argument. The first is compulsory, the second is optional. So the first is, first of all, we write the port number. Port, you can directly write the port, but as well you have just, if you comment this, first of all check it. So you just see there is nothing will be output and showing in there, because this port number is 5000 and our port number is 444. ठीक है, port number is just like you have to कि where you run the server. ठीक है, server कहाँ run करना तुम्हें. Okay, that's it. So we just local and we write the port number. The port number is 4444, and when we have a renter, you just say this is our Express.js server. Our first server is created using the Express.js. You can just see that when you have created a server using Node.js, it's take a lot of code complex. You just thinking what is that HTTP create server, you have to write required.url, but in this you don't need to require any, you need to write any hard stuff. Okay, you just write the root request response and this is created. Simple as that. It's easy. Okay, and listen is just like port number. If you just don't want to assign port number there, you just click here and you write, if you write there port number, and you just, it's still working properly. Okay, but the best practice is first you assign your port number and you write your variable value here, so it's working proper. And the second argument is, that is our arrow function. We have used the basically the callback and the console log. So we have just write a console.log and write, we use lexical scope, this server is running on port number, port लिख देता है, just like simply जो variable होगा वो आ जाएगा. ठीक है, and whenever just is, okay, it's working, and you can see that why they send me this dummy data, why, oh, I don't know, I just tab using the show port, when we just click on tab, something else. Okay, now it's working properly. Okay, you can just see the server is running on port number 3, and we just change this running is port number. We yeah, so you just see that the server is running on port number we. Okay, so it's like it's working. Okay, so our server is creating this. Next is routing. How we perform routing in Express.js. Okay, there we just look how the routing is work on Express.js. First, we have to just return just simple, click on server. Basic, we have created again the server dot get. तो यहाँ पे हम डालेंगे root. The root is, we have just write the root user and just callback is request comma response, and this is an arrow function, and you just simply write the response dot send, this is our user page. Okay, this is our user page, and just when we go on root number user, so you just simply say why it's not working, just check it. Okay, so it's not working, why. लेट मी चेक कि ऐसा क्यों हुआ है. Why the server is not working? It's running, but when we write the user, cannot get users. Why? Let's checking. First of all, I check the syntax. Maybe the syntax will be perfect, but why it's given me an error? Should I need to write this code on? No problem. Just copy and paste. And ChatGPT will give the answer why our code is not working properly. Okay. Okay, we have to put the hash. Okay. Now maybe now I think it's work. Okay, so now it's working properly. Okay, successfully. So now we have just understanding some basic. This is a basic, and now it's come to some advanced concepts. Okay, where we have just used it. Okay, so first of all, we have look what is usually you just see here is the notes. Okay, this note you can get from Virtual Code YouTube channel. Okay, so this is an introduction to Express.js, creating server using Express.js. Okay, a created server. This is HTTP method. HTTP method are used to handle various type of request meta server. Okay, HTTP method क्या है? ये हमारी यूज करता है हैंडल टू रिक्वेस्ट मल्टीपल टाइप ऑफ यूज टू used to handle various type of requests. The common just like get method. Get method is used to retrieve data from the server. Okay, it's just like if you have been using any weather app, you just write the location and the server will get you response on the basis of data. So you had requests. Okay, you request to the server using get method. This is the back. This is the code part. You don't know what is that. But the post method will send the data. Used to send data on the server, create new resources. ठीक है? Used to send data. Post is just like data send करने के लिए use करते हैं. And put is used to update an existing resources. Put is just like if you have an Instagram account, okay, and you want to create a completely user. If it's a bad example, I repeat again. Just you have an Instagram account and you have a username, and your username is username and surname, and you just want I don't need a surname. I just make a some chatpata name. This is very common in right now on Instagram. You just write down, okay, and you just write and you just save it. Okay. What you do? You just simply change the username. Okay. You just simply change the username. But what is used when it's come to use a partially updated resource? Partially update, you have just changed the little part of that edit. You have a profile picture on Instagram, you just change it. So you don't create another account, you just change the profile picture on the existing account. Okay, so that's it. And the next is delete method. What is delete method? Delete method is used to delete a resources. You just created your Instagram account, delete it, not disable, just delete it. That's real part. Delete it. The next is request parent. It's now this is interesting part. Okay, this is an interesting part. request.parent. Request.parents is an object that store root parameters in express.js. ओके, ये रूट को स्टोर करते हैं express.js. चलो कैसे करते हैं, लेट्स स्टार्ट. फर्स्ट first thing, this is our basic server. Okay, now it's working correctly, but now it's not because I have just commented code. Enter. This is our express.js server. And now we just move to create our server with the help of params. Server dot get, we just write the user, and after the user we just use the yeah, colon. Okay, and then we have used write down id. Okay, and we have just create id. This is our root, and the and our next is callback. Callback is request comma response. Okay, and this is that is okay. Now you just need to send the response on this route. So what you do, simply just response. It's just like you don't need to understand what is req and response. Req means request and res means response. Okay, so what the response we have to send on the server, just write res dot and write oh send, and just use the lexical scope. This is our user our page user page, and the account, the user id is dollar sign curly brackets and write down id. Okay, so you just see here, you just need to slash hash, and when you just write down user and hash 32. Okay, id is not defined because id is not defined yet, so because we have not used the params to make it. So first we have used creating a variable name let id, and use the function dot request. We have used the request method. Okay, request is just used to retrieve data from the root. Okay, request dot and then use mhm, params dot id. I think now it's working. Let me check. Okay, okay, we have to use the dot, not comma. Okay, this is our user page, and the user id is 32 because we have mentioned 32 there. And once we have just write 33, 32, and whatever we have just write, they will be printed on there. This is server. So what we do, we have request the server. Okay, the param is used to take the id of an from the server. Okay, now the next is request.query. What is request.query? Request.query is an object that store query parameters. Okay, query parameters is just like we have an, you know what is an object. Object is just like, I will give an example. Let's select user. This is an object, and we use to write down basic thing. कुछ कुछ काम हमें नहीं करने चाहिए manually, because if you have a data, so why you need to do repetitive tasks if okay. And just like देखो, ये क्या हमारे users हैं. This is name. Okay, नमन रोहित. This is just your name. ठीक है, and this is and there is role. Okay, now what we do, we just go on simply. Now what we want, we just want ki if we write the id here, the output, the code will matlab, it's just like we whenever just we enter the id here, the entire object, the user will be show on our output screen. And it's possible using query. Okay, so we use query dot id, and now what we do, just check it. Okay, it's very difficult to teach. Maybe I don't. I just study at morning, and I now I'm going to live because it's just help है कि you have studied जो भी तुमने पढ़ा अभी, just उसको तुम अभी साथ के साथ रिवाइज पे करते रहो, so it's better. Okay, so I decided. Okay, now now what we do, we just basically whatever we have write in there, the id will store. Okay, let's see our comment code, so we have an idea what we do there. Okay, तो the basic thing क्या थी कि हमने एक id लिया, ठीक है, const id, id is an variable, and इस वेरिएबल में हम क्या करते हैं, नंबर में कन्वर्ट कर लेते हैं किसको, request dot query dot id को. So that's mean if there any data in come from id, it will be directly converted into numerical value using this number built-in function that will be provided by JavaScript. Okay, and then it's created. We just now what the next step is, I just see const user. Okay, just like user dot find, like we have used the find function, users dot find user जो है इक्वल है id के. I think right now I need some little help of ChatGPT because I'm a little confused. So what we do is creating ID, we just creating and const. Okay. So let's understand the code and then jump to the next. That is a const user, that is a variable. Users dot find. Users, that is an object. Okay, right there. And find is used to user. User is just like a it's stored to one variable. Users dot ID. If users जो है एक एक यूजर्स मतलब क्या है, फाइंड मतलब द फाइंड विल गो मतलब वन बाय वन. इफ द यूजर्स डॉट आईडी इज इक्वल टू में दैट, तो कौन यूजर में आ जाएगा, एंड नाउ आफ्टर दैट वी जस्ट यूज टू प्रिंट इट. तो क्या इफ अगर हमारा इफ यूजर इज नॉट फाउंड, तो व्हाट वी डू, यूजर इज नॉट फाउंड, वी रिटर्न स्टेटस एंड यूजर नॉट फाउंड. अदरवाइज हम क्या कर देंगे, अदरवाइज एल्स वी जस्ट राइट rest.json. Rest.json, what they do, rest.json is just converted those object data into a JSON format. So we can see it. Okay. Now just refresh it. User not found. Okay, because its user did not exist. What we written there? Return 32133. Okay, but the user ID, the but we have only three ID. Okay, so we just write down here, write down three there, and then we enter. They say the user ID is not found. Okay, why? It's not working. Why is any error? Copilot is giving me a wrong code. That's a bullshit. Hey, anybody are live? Just comment anything you want to ask me. This is my first live streaming. This is my second part. Today's this is my second live streaming. Okay, and the first will be I close early because the network is so slow, and I feeling facing while doing the browsing, so it's make disturbances. So it's create disturbance. So just I close the live streaming. Okay. Now we again on the live streaming. Okay. Okay. The now it's excellent. And stream quality is perfect. Okay. Now I'm just directly go to there and see what happened. Why our code is not running successfully. These are not found. Why it's giving me an error? मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ. Everything is perfect, but still error. How? It's possible. Let me check again. Okay. So first thing, okay. Why? I don't want to use Chat GPT most of the time, but what we do? Let's copy and paste and ask the Chat GPT what the error is. What is the error in that code? Let's see. The logic is correct, but there is one. Okay. This means ID is a route parameter. Our code is literally same, but it's saying the real error is your root is user dot hash ID. Okay, okay. But to get our response is equal to me that's mean ID is a root parameter. So we write down this is the correct method. And right method is let ID is equal to me number request dot param. Okay. They said use the params so it will work. Okay, let's see. Okay, now it's working successfully. And just I'm coming. Just wait 1 to 2 minutes. I will be back soon. Okay, I'll be back. Now see what the exactly problem is. Okay. Okay, so the actual problem is we use query instead of param. So that's why it's giving me an error because request param is an object that store root parameters in express here. Okay. View what now it will now it's running perfect. And now understand what is the request query. Request query is an object that stores query parameter from the URL. Hmm. And query parameter are sent as a key value pairs in the URL after the symbols. Okay. So what is the good example of query is? Let me see. And I think I do it. I do. Okay, just have no problem. The params is also request.query. So that query is just like once you have searched anything, fetching user the name from age and date. Okay. So let's understand what is it. Okay. First we have to comment this all the okay X. Okay. Server dot get, and just after the server dot get we use the root. Okay. User. Okay. And just after the user we write the callbacks. Callback is request comma response, and after the request and response we write down the const. Okay. Constant is an object that taking two value name comma age is equal to my request dot query. Okay. Sharing a breeze dot fetching the fetching the user with fetching the user with name okay, and age. Okay, here it is. And what will happen in this code? First of all, I explain you. Okay, you just see that in most of the time, what you do, you searching and filtering most of the thing you have just search. You can't be just explore page and you find whatever you want. It's not understand your memory. Okay, server just in simple terms, computer is just like a computer. If you don't give any command, they response on the basis of command. Okay, so if you search anything in there, okay, search. If you just write question mark, it's not used as a ternary operator. If name जो है name के अंदर what क्या वैल्यू डाल दो, right, नमन, and fetching the username with naman and undefined. Okay, so what you understand is just like this is an basic object. Okay, This is an basic object. So how we use? First of all, simply first write down localhost and then your port number. Port number is, and after the port number you just see the root is user. You write down user, and after user you just need write to down question mark. Question mark is just used to search. Okay, if you search anything you just write the question mark and name. It's just like you just see the const is an object that taking two value name and age. Okay, and that is a request dot query में convert कर दो. इन दोनों की जो value आएगी that उनको convert कर दो request dot query में. तो क्या यहाँ पे क्या the name is equal to my name and we just use and age is 20 and just enter, and let's see what the output is. We just see that fetching the user with name naman and ठीक है. So that's is our param. This is our query and param. So we understand what is the param is and the query is. Okay, so now let's understand another topic. The next is connect front end with back end. This is a I not study this yet, but when I just finish it, of course I will, and I will take a revision session of this also. So first thing before the ending session, just check it. What is backend development? Backend development means we understand what is the backend development. Okay. HTTP method. What is the port? What is reason port? A number that identify where the server run. Port is in simple name. What is port? Port is a number. A port is a number that identify. Port is a number that identify where the server run. Okay. Port number. And listen is just like run the server on this specific port. Okay. Simple as this. Okay. Hey everyone, is anyone listening to me? Before finishing the listing, I just need to ask a question to my two live viewers. Does you have any best advice to revise any topic and concept? If you have, just comment down. Maybe it's helpful for me or someone to read the comment. I'm just directly go to there and see what happened. Why the our code is not running successfully. Is anyone here or not? Okay, just move forward. HTTP request. What is HTTP? HTTP is a hypertext transfer protocol. What is the role of in Node? HTTP in Node.js is used to create a services or servers. What the hell I'm talking? What the hell I'm saying? HTTP in Node.js is used to create servers that handle requests and responses of the client. Okay, and send responses that handle requests. Yes. Hmm? I agree, bro. तुम जैसे बहुत पढ़ रहे हो. But it's always me versus me. And I'm just study. Just job market is literally filled up. I agree with that you. But हर जगह यही हाल है ना. It's just like which industry just not, jobs security और good job, अच्छी job, secure job, safe job. हर जगह मतलब रश है मार्केट में. So you just not ना कि sit करके छोड़ दो तुम सब चीजें. You have to do. कुछ ना कुछ तो करना ही पड़ेगा ना. मैं भी कुछ ना कुछ करने के बहाने आ गया लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग पे. तुम्हें क्या लगता है कि मतलब जॉब टेक जॉब कैसे है? अब बीपीओ में जॉब है खाली. जॉब तो है ही. बीपीओ में जॉब है. बीपीओ में जॉब क्यों करनी है यार, है ना। बीपीओ में भी तो जॉब है, कर सकते हो, करने वाले कर रहे हैं। बट यार बीपीओ में जॉब तुम्हें पता है ना, इसके अलावा कोई इंडस्ट्री है? आई थिंक काफी इंडस्ट्री है बट यार, देयर आर सो मेनी इंडस्ट्री की जहाँ पे, देयर आर सो मेनी इंडस्ट्री की जहाँ पे तुम कर सकते हो काम। बट यार टेक जॉब हर किसी का सपना है यार, मतलब मेरा मन करना था कि मतलब मैं करूँ। अभी कॉलेज के लास्ट सेमेस्टर में जस्ट लाइक थिंकिंग क्या स्किल्स अभी खराब हो रखी है, एआई आ चुका है, तो जस्ट रिवाइज कर रहा हूँ मैं। बाकी तुम्हारी तरफ से कोई एडवाइस हो यार कि अगर खाने पीने का जॉब कर लो, खाने पीने का किस टाइप का जॉब, जैसे खाने पीने का, तो मैं जस्ट खाने पीने का जॉब लाइक a restaurant, forget, okay. So our first slide is completed. What is backend development is, okay, and what is Node.js, what is server, and how to create a server in Node.js, how to create server in Express.js, how to send data, how to request and responses. Everything is mostly as okay. And the final part is how to connect front end with backend. This is a very important topic, and I study to not today. I study this topic tomorrow, and whenever I cover it, I just teach you what is the exactly how to connect the front end with the back end. But I think the most is that all is handled using the Express.js APIs. Okay, okay. The all thing will be handled using the APIs. We use API, multiple APIs to connect front end with back end. Okay, okay. Before jumping to the next, I have my Notion sheet that helped me to revise all the topics. ठीक है, what is backend, ठीक है, the study step by step, ठीक है। HTTP सिक्योरिटी क्या होता है? HTTP is like hypertext transfer protocol. This is a hypertext protocol that help us to creating a server that help a computer and system to communicate with each other. Okay, and HTTPS is just like a security that use in when we come to deployments. So for the security and scalability, we use HTTPS. ठीक है, when your deployment, I not study it, but yeah, I will just basic. Okay, and what is REST and SOAP? REST is an REST API, SOAP API is just like how you can communicate with each other if you have a different origin. Whenever you just code on React JS, okay, you just see the React with the window, the root address is 5173. So how you can communicate with one server to one, how to can communicate front end with front end to back end. So what should you use? You simply use APIs. Okay, API, API. This but the all REST APIs is APIs, but not all REST is APIs. In the simple terms, ki dekho, all so all APIs है, it's REST API. Okay, but REST API is not equal to API. Okay, simple. App API, REST API. It's not equal to REST API. ठीक है, so REST API is just like we have read the definition, and now we and after that we just talk about what exactly REST API is. REST API use URL properly. ठीक है? Use HTTP method like create, get, post. Okay. An API that follow REST rule. REST says use URL properly. Use HTTP method. Get, post, push, delete. ठीक है? Be simple and structured. Send data. Usually JSON. Okay. So REST API is a clean, organized way to build API. REST REST API क्या है? Is a simple and structured way to create and build an API and use in production ready. Okay. Because in you just see that the server is you cannot communicate direct with front end to back end. You need to use the middleware. And I will just really confused ki how I can prepare for the tech interviews, tech job. Because whenever I study the by watching tutorial, it feel like it's easy. So when it's come to code, it's become so hard sometimes. So how I can fix this problem? By practicing and by the what is the correct way to practice? First thing I think, hmm, what is the exactly correct way to practice? Okay. HTTP method, HTTP module. Okay. What is listen? Okay. Everything I just studied. Okay. The next is how to connect front end with back end. Okay, this is a server. Our first server is Node.js. The server again. Production to Express.js. Okay, we install Express.js although. So this is our server. First thing we run our server. Okay, create this, create this concept. Let's run our port, our server dot listen and port. console.log our server is running on port number, okay, and just before first thing we have created a basic server. So after once the server is working properly, then we moving to the next step. Server dot server dot get. Here is our root, our callback request dot response dot send. This is our home page. Okay, this is our home page. Our server is created successfully using Express.js. Okay, and now we go to the and now let's jump to the how we connect our front end to the backend. Okay, here is our front end file main.jsx and app.jsx. Okay, close this file, not quite this. Okay, so let's first of all run this code. Okay, create our run our React project npm run dev. Okay, cd frontend npm run dev. Okay, that's it. Here is our server is started. Okay, let's take the value. Okay, first understand the code. Okay, server dot use request res request response and next. So why we use next? Okay, first thing I have to understand what is next. What is what is the use of next in backend? Okay, what is the use of next in the backend? Okay, use says I am done going to the next step. Okay, simple. Okay, next is just like we have created request and responses. Once the task will be completed, the server is not moving forward to the next until you don't give a response to the next. Okay, so here is the next. And now you just go on where request.body pass next.